When the dollar, the foundation of modern wealth, collapses, what happens to the buildings, the land, the homes, and the dreams it financed? Will real estate survive, or will it crumble under the same pressure that destroys paper wealth? Today on Money Code, we decode what really happens to real estate when the dollar collapses, and how the smart survive when value shifts from currency to control. This isn't science fiction. This is what happens when a currency collapses. And the question everyone's afraid to ask is, what happens to your home when the dollar dies? A dollar collapse doesn't destroy buildings. It destroys the system that values them. Today we're diving into the nightmare scenario that keeps economists up at night. Because while your money might turn into toilet paper, your house, well, that's where things get interesting. Let's start with something simple. What even is the dollar? Here's the thing most people don't realize. Your dollar bill isn't backed by gold. It's not backed by silver. It's backed by something way more fragile: trust. That green paper in your wallet only works because everyone believes it works. It's like a magic trick that only functions if the whole audience plays along. The moment people stop believing, the trick falls apart. Think of it like this. Imagine you're on a playground and everyone agrees that shiny rocks are money. You can trade them for snacks, for toys, for anything. But one day someone says, "Wait, these are just rocks." If everyone agrees, suddenly your pockets full of rocks are worthless. That's what a dollar collapse means. It's the moment everyone stops pretending. So what could actually kill the dollar? There are three monsters lurking in the shadows. Monster number one: political chaos. Picture this. America starts making decisions that scare the rest of the world. Maybe we break promises. Maybe we start fights we can't win. Other countries start thinking, maybe we shouldn't trust America anymore. And here's where it gets dangerous. When countries stop trusting you, they stop using your money. It's like being the kid in class that nobody wants to sit with at lunch. Except instead of lunch tables, we're talking about trillions of dollars flowing out of America and into other currencies. Monster number two: the printing press. Imagine you're playing Monopoly and someone just starts making their own money with crayons and paper. At first, everyone has a little more money. Fun, right? But soon, everyone has so much fake money that it becomes meaningless. That's hyperinflation. When the government prints too much money, each dollar becomes worth less and less. In some countries, this got so bad that people needed wheelbarrows full of cash just to buy bread. Wheelbarrows for bread. Monster number three: the debt mountain. America owes tens of trillions of dollars. To put that in perspective, if you spent $1 million every single day, it would take you over 82,000 years to spend $1 trillion. And America owes more than 30 of those. When you owe that much money, people start wondering if you can ever pay it back. And when people start wondering, they start getting nervous. And when they get nervous, they run. Now here's where it gets personal. What happens to real estate when the dollar is dying? Let's say you're trying to buy a house as the dollar collapses. The interest rate nightmare first: borrowing money becomes insanely expensive. Banks aren't stupid. When money is losing value, they want to be paid back more to make up for it. So interest rates shoot through the roof. We saw a taste of this recently. Just a few years ago, you could get a mortgage for 3%. Then suddenly it jumped to 7%. Imagine it going to 15% or 20%. Your monthly payment would be more than most people's entire salary. The loan approval gauntlet. But even if you could afford those crazy interest rates, banks won't want to lend to you. Think about it from their perspective. They're about to hand you hundreds of thousands of dollars that might be worth half as much by the time you pay them back. So they become picky. Really picky. Your credit score needs to be perfect. You need tons of money saved up. You need to prove you're basically a financial superhero. For most people, getting approved becomes nearly impossible. The construction cost explosion. And if you want to build a new home, forget about it. When the dollar crashes, everything costs more. Wood, steel, concrete, labor, everything. A house that would have cost $300,000 to build might suddenly cost $500,000 or $800,000. The price keeps climbing because the money keeps shrinking. But what if you already own a home? Is that better or worse? This is where things get weird. The inflation paradox. Here's the crazy part. Your home's price goes up when the dollar goes down. Let me explain. Since 1963, inflation has gone up about 900%. Rent kept pace, going up around 900% too. But home values? They exploded by 2,350%. Why? Because a house is real. It's wood and brick and land. You can touch it. You can live in it. When paper money becomes worthless, real things become precious. It's like trading your monopoly money for an actual property on the board. The fake money becomes useless, but the property stays valuable. But here's the catch. Your home's price on paper goes up. But does that mean you're rich? Not exactly. Sure, your house might be worth twice as much. But remember, everything else costs twice as much too. Your groceries, your gas, your electricity, everything. And here's the real kicker. Even though your house is more valuable, your costs skyrocket too. Property taxes, they go up because your home is worth more on paper. Insurance? Companies need to charge more because it costs more to fix anything. If you have an adjustable rate mortgage, your monthly payment could double or triple as interest rates climb. Suddenly, you're house rich but cash poor. Your home is worth a fortune, but you can barely afford to keep it. Now imagine you're renting. This is where things get really dark. Your landlord's costs are going up. Their mortgage, their taxes, their insurance, everything is climbing. So what do? They raise your rent. And they're not being greedy. They're just trying to survive. But you, the renter, you're getting crushed between rising rent and a paycheck that's worth less every month. Some renters will have no choice but to move. Maybe back with family, maybe into smaller places, maybe onto someone's couch. The housing crisis becomes a housing catastrophe. And here's the darkest part. As some homeowners can't keep up with their higher payments, they'll lose their homes to foreclosure. Suddenly, there are cheaper houses on the market. Your landlord might wonder why they're renting to you when they could just sell and get out. Of course, the government won't just sit there and watch this happen. They'll try to fix it. They might offer grants to help people buy homes, tax breaks for homeowners, incentives for builders to make cheaper housing. It's like when you're failing a class, and the teacher suddenly offers extra credit. It helps, but it doesn't fix the fundamental problem. The real solution would be to stop the collapse in the first place. Cut spending, reduce debt, restore confidence. But those are long-term fixes for a short-term crisis. So what do? How do you survive if the dollar collapses? If you own a home. You're actually in a better position than most. Your home is a real asset. It holds value even when paper money doesn't. If you have a fixed-rate mortgage, that's even better. You're paying back the bank with money that's worth less than when you borrowed it. In a weird way, inflation helps you, but you need to prepare. Build an emergency fund. Cut unnecessary expenses. Consider locking in a fixed rate if you have an adjustable mortgage. Don't panic sell unless you absolutely have to. If you're trying to buy, this is tough, really tough. Buying during a collapse is like trying to catch a falling knife. But if you can afford it, buying real estate during chaos can be one of the smartest moves you ever make. Why? Because you're buying a real asset with money that's losing value. You're essentially trading trash for treasure. If you're renting, you're in the hardest spot. Your best move is to build savings as fast as possible. Try to buy something, anything, even a small condo or a piece of land. Get yourself anchored to something real before the storm hits. Here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. A complete dollar collapse is unlikely. Not impossible, but unlikely. America's economy is massive. It's connected to every other major economy on Earth. For the dollar to completely collapse, the entire global system would have to fail, and nobody wants that. Not China, not Europe, not anyone. But, and this is important, unlikely doesn't mean impossible. We've seen currencies collapse before. Germany in the 1920s, Zimbabwe in the 2000s, Venezuela in the 2010s. It can happen. It has happened. The difference is that when the dollar sneezes, the whole world catches a cold. So everyone has a reason to keep it healthy. But if it did collapse, real estate wouldn't save you from hardship. It wouldn't make the crisis painless. But it would give you something real to hold on to while paper money turned to dust. In the end, the lesson is simple. Trust in currency is fragile. Trust in land, in brick, in something you can touch. That's ancient. That's primal. That survives. So whether you own a home or dream of owning one, remember this. Money is just an idea. But your home is real. And in a world where nothing is certain, real is everything. When money fails, the world doesn't end. It resets. Those who understand how value moves inherit what's left. So ask yourself, when the dollar collapses, will your wealth vanish or evolve? The dollar might be the most powerful currency on earth today, but history is full of most powerful things that don't exist anymore. The question isn't if things can change. The question is, will you be ready when they do? If this made you think differently about money and survival, subscribe for more deep dives into the systems that run our world and what happens when they break. See you in the next one.